Welcome everyone to the show. My goodness, I am pumped beyond belief. I know what else is new, but this time, yo, it is absolutely next level excitement. We have the one and only Shonda Spades, CEO of Flourish Foundation Project. And around March, I had the absolute privilege because of our ecosystem, folks, because of the who you know and who works with you and who vouches for you, had the amazing opportunity to become the COO of this amazing foundation. And now we're going to talk about, and boy, I can't believe it, where gaming meets healing inside the Youth Championship Summit. We're talking about a full on Olympic center event, youth centered esports meets wellness movement, right? This is going to be groundbreaking in the month of September, which is National Suicide Prevention Month. And this is all about our youth and how to empower them, the root cause of what causes this kind of issue with our youth. And we're going to have the lady who started it off from her own pain, and we're going to hear her story. More importantly, we're going to get into how you can be involved, sponsors, corporations. This one's a no brainer for the right fit, folks. So let's get this party started and bring this amazing lady to the table.
Looks like your business might be in a bit of a pickle. Don't you worry about a thing. You ain't alone in this. You're just a success story waiting to happen. Trust me on that. Every bump in the road is just an opportunity wearing a clever disguise. Welcome to the Hounds of Business community, where we don't just sit around twiddling our thumbs. Nope. We turn those obstacles into mighty fine stepping stones. This here's a place where high-level entrepreneurs and sharp professionals gather to grow their businesses and mindsets, kind of like how a good old gumbo needs the right ingredients to be something special. Ideas thrive here, and collaborations, well, they're as natural as sweet tea on a hot day. Success, it's a journey, and we're fixing to walk that road right beside you. Now, don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn for all the latest tips and insights. We're talking about the kind of wisdom that'll keep you ahead of the game. And while you're at it, head on over to our YouTube channel. We've got ourselves a treasure trove of videos, from expert interviews to webinars, everything you need to stay sharp in this fast-moving world of business. The Hounds of Business community? Well, we ain't just a network, we're a movement. So why not come on and be part of something bigger? Join us today and let's turn your business journey into a real Southern success story. Together, we'll achieve greatness, just like crawfish and singing on a Friday night.
All right, folks, you're back with me, Mike Asherbrenner, Hounds of Business, the Redneck Connector. Let's bring up Shonda Space. She might know about some crawfish and singing on a Friday night. Let's find out. Shonda, how are you? You got a little country in you, don't you?
I have a little bit of a lot of country in me, so yeah.
That must be why we get along. One of the many reasons we get along, my friend. So, hey, thank you for coming on this show. I couldn't be more excited to share with your story and the impact that is happening. This is a movement, y'all. This is absolutely phenomenal. So, Shonda, I want to jump right into the heart of it. We have 16 hours for a 30-minute show, right? So let's get into it. Let's get with the heart of the story, right? Behind the work. Tell us about that. You were doing your corporate job, living life as normal, has a family, all these things. Something happened, right? So tell us the little background behind this, because that's the most powerful aspect of this organization and this hallmark event coming up September 13th. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So, what happened is my oldest son has cerebral palsy and he walks with a pretty significant limp. And as he transitioned from middle school to high school, a much larger school, all these other schools feeding into it, um, new kids that didn't know him, et cetera, et cetera. He walked into a horrific bullying situation with our one of the local schools here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and it was severe. It was bullying where these children were emulating gang activity. Now they're in a very nice neighborhood, so I can't say they're truly a gang, but if you're acting like a gang, then you might be a gang. Um, but this group of kids at his school started picking on him because of how he walked, tripping him in the hallway, different things of that nature. And then as more kids um, joined this group of kids emulating a gang, they started what's called jumping in, and they would actually, anyone joining would jump on my son. So it was every couple of days he was being attacked. He's been rushed from school by ambulance several times. Two of those times he received or sustained a concussion twice. And at the end of the day, my son was being punished for it, punished for being the victim. So he has cerebral palsy, metal pins at his hips. He doesn't have the physical ability to run because of his condition. But with the blanket policy here where we live, with and which is still in place, and this has been several years, but this policy still in place, is a zero tolerance policy for fighting. So if you're involved in a fight, whether you are the one that is being beat up or you are the one doing the beating up, um, everyone involved gets the same 10-day mandatory suspension. So my son felt that he was becoming a burden. He felt that he was being punished for something that he couldn't fix. Um, and we fought, we tried to fight at IEP meetings. I got an attorney involved, et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, at the last IEP meeting that we went to, the then assistant superintendent, when we asked, this particular incident was on a bus, and I said, well, what is he supposed to do? He doesn't have the physical ability to run away. He's on a moving bus. What should he do if he doesn't want to get suspended for fighting? Because he's already been hospitalized twice for this and received concussion. Um, what do you want us to do? And that then assistant superintendent told my son to jump out of the back of a moving bus. Um,
Oof.
2 days later, my son attempted suicide. So I have then become a mom on a mission trying to find, first of all, what helps my son. And then what I do in corporate is corporate gap analysis. I look at different things, usually in sales, and try to find the answers for different corporations. But I just started using that expertise for youth suicide. What is causing it? What's triggering it? What is there to help? Because my son initially, the answer universally is to put the kid in counseling. But when we put kids in traditional counseling and counseling that is not made for them and doesn't speak to them and resonate with them, then we're not going to get the full
No.
impact that we need. So he didn't want to go to traditional counseling. He wasn't identifying with his therapist. But what I did find out and what works with kids and where they are is um, kids are spending 8 to 12 hours a day when you combine it with music, videos, and gaming. So I started finding what worked for my son. And then as this became more and more public here locally, it became a program and it became a nonprofit. And now here we are today where we are building stigma free solutions for youth mental health and wellness, and specifically youth suicide prevention.
Shonda, wow, where to start, folks? There's so much wrong, but I want to focus on what's so much right about this, right? The inspiration behind this. I've seen you, and not to embarrass you, but listen, you put your money where your mouth is. You left a corporate gig, let's say comfort, and you're doing fine, and you left it all behind, and woo, just challenge after challenge. The sacrifice is unreal, folks. What this lady does on a daily is mind blowing. But that's it. And here's why we're here today. How do we support this? How do we make this go to next level? How do we, the folks out here, the businesses out here, my goodness, because this is not okay. But it's every 11 minutes, someone does. I got to be careful because of the algorithms on link, But folks, the grown-ups are talking here, right? And I'm more concerned about getting this message out on the radio here than I am worried about algorithm. But this is not okay. And you put everything for the last 2 years behind this right now, and you are addressing the root cause. This is a movement to get things done. It's not a Band-Aid. It's not, flash in the pan. This is happening, and we're at that pinnacle right now that we can get this moved to the next level. And so let's skip right to this event. What is it called? And folks, if you're on the radio, you can go to Esports Play Stay. Right, it's kind of Dr. Seuss sounding when I say it, but it's Esports Play Stay.live. You can go to Hounds of Business. You can check that. We'll put it in all the links. You can go to LinkedIn, Hounds of Business, me, Redneck One. You can go to Flourish.foundation as well and get the info. But walk us through the why, the how, and more importantly, how can we get people involved? Because we don't have a lot of time. And this is going to be not just this event, it's going to be impactful on a national level like we haven't seen before. Go ahead.
All righty. So Esports Play and Stay Live is what the event is, and it is done in partnership and hosted by the Olympic Regional Development Authority, ORDA, and it will be live from the Olympic Center in Lake Placid, New York. So this is a monumental event. Like, you can't get any bigger. And what it's designed to do is we are putting our money where our mouth is and looking at what is going to work, what works for youth. Well, the stats are there, the studies are there, the CDC, the U.S. Surgeon General reports are there and support that when we get kids focused on meeting them where they are, first of all, and having things that resonate with them, which is music, which is gaming, which is videos and social media, then we reach them and it resonates with them and they emulate and take on what those messages are better. The second thing is that this is a national youth summit. So it will be live from the Olympic Center in Lake Placid, New York. That's where the 1980s Olympics was held. Um, and it will be live streamed across YouTube, social media, and the gaming platforms where kids are already are. So this is getting the message for mental health and wellness, and specifically uh, stopping kids from harming themselves and taking their own lives by meeting them where they are, giving them those tools that they actually need to stop those things in the tracks. We're doing some pretty powerful things. So the whole idea is to meet kids where they are, give them the tools and resources that they need, an actual toolkit they can walk away with of things that they can do to help turn those thoughts around, and to put it into gaming, put it into music. We have an entire album of songs that teach suicide prevention strategies, and it sounds like what's on the radio today, and it covers every genre. I mean, every genre. And then with this play and stay, it is to play the games, have the conversations, and to stay live together. Stay alive. That is what we are doing, but on a national scale. If you look at there's one major gaming platform that has over 240 million subscribers on that one platform. So when we air this is reaching kids so profoundly where they are and in the way that they actually interact and understand. And then we're teaching them something they can come away with. They're getting QPR certification right in this summit. They are being able to take away those songs that teach them how to overcome those thoughts and how to reach out to other people. So we're giving the tools that can literally save a life. But not only that, we're activating them to make their own quest. Our youth facing initiative is called SoundQuest Station. And it's just a program, the program that we actually run through with these children, but it is gamification of these mental health strategies. It is putting it into music and song, but then empowering them through education and technology so that they can be that line of defense in their own schools, so they can know how to help themselves and one another. How do you refer someone? What do you need to say to someone when you notice something that maybe an adult doesn't quite catch? I am honestly tired of seeing the things that come on the news when there's a tragedy and there's someone being interviewed and they're saying, oh, this child was withdrawn, this child did this. They were very, they had this shift change in their, this sharp change in their behavior, which is signature of some of the things that happen before someone does attempt to take their lives. So
Right.
these are the things that we can actually do. So with these with these quests, kids are working collaboratively together um, to make a difference. We have an 11 every 11 minutes campaign where kids actually share positive messages of hope. So because there is that statistic that says every 11 minutes we lose someone to this. But one of the children in our program for after school actually said, well, if that's happening every 11 minutes, why don't we just say every 11 minutes we do something to tell them to stay around? And that's what we're doing. So we are putting the intervention where it needs to be so kids see it, so it resonates with them. So we are formatting it in a kid friendly way. We are putting it where they are and where they're spending the time. You know, think about the
Right.
fact that kids spend over 12 hours a week in music and gaming. Um, that's that's more than what they are in school. So this is what we need to do to be able to get these solutions to the kids. And what we're doing is making these stigma-free solutions. So it looks like fun, it looks like gaming, but it's all peppered with what they need.
Right. September is back to school, and the national month for this, right? Like, so saving lives. And then we're going to jump into how, because I mean, this is huge. You have colleges. I mean, there's some mental health professionals. I mean, there's apps, there's all kinds of stuff just pouring out of this thing. But you say, well, what is it all about? This event right here, that I haven't worked so hard on anything in my life. I can't recall, because I know when this hits off, uh, it we're doing serious things, not just talking about it, not just kind of incrementally, but we are seriously just making this happen. We're connecting them not just with feel good and hope, with how to. And this is where the community, this is where the colleges, this is where the businesses can support something amazing, right? But also benefit. We got exposure out the wazoo and all of these things. So first of all, Mike King Biz Radio on ESPN 106.1 FM. Thank you so much. This is what it's all about, my friend. This guy, they love him. They put him on the Jumbotron every time he goes to ball game. I see why. Because this man pushes up like no other, and that's birds of a feather with the Hounds of Business. If you guys want to learn more, tap in. Go straight to the landing page, Esports Play Stay.live. Or you can also learn more about the organization at Flourish.foundation. And wow. And go to YouTube. Hounds of Business. We'll have all the links there for you. Also, LinkedIn and Carrier Pigeon, but we don't have time for that. This event's coming, so no Carrier Pigeon today. Sorry, folks. But what we want to do is really capitalize on who's involved and why is this happening, right? We want to make sure that kids not just, like I said, feel good, right, Shonda, but they have something positive. And if anybody can understand personally, right, how community affected me, positive community, like-minded kids and people coming together, supported by national brands, supported by local colleges. I mean, some of these kids that are coming to this event, these are students, right? Not just college, but some of them are younger, and they're probably like me. They didn't have a vacation. They don't have the money to go places over the summer. And this is special because the goal is to take kids from Charlotte, right, the home of this thing, and take them up there, right, and have the local kids in New York. And the people behind this, it's not just the business venue. I've seen the folks that play here. I've been in the meetings behind the scenes. They own this. They love this. They are going above and beyond, and we love them for that. So get concrete with me, because I'm cutting to the chase. There's no time to waste. Professional teams that do this for a living had 12 months to do it. We had 2, right? So, but you know what? It means enough. And I see your sacrifice. I see what you're doing. And I just know this ain't a sales thing. This is when the right people see this, it gets done. So let's go through with it. What are some of the events? Walk us through the event, what we're going to see. What are some of the sponsors and people involved with this? Will they have rooms? What kind of give us a little bit of picture of what this will look like now, and also what it will do to push us to the next level, right? Because there's a lot here, and we're not going to get into all the detail. But if you want more, folks, go to the event page, reach out to us. We'll be happy to help, especially if you're looking to sponsor this amazing event. So walk us through a little bit about what it would look like, and then also from the standpoint of support, what are they going to get? Because we got a lot of exposure and eyeballs on this thing. And no exaggeration. Whoever comes in to make this happen is the hero of this. Okay, we're going to make sure the world knows it. Take it from here, my friend.
Absolutely. So what this looks like is um, a massive Olympic-sized esports tournament. So we're gathering kids in what they enjoy. Um, Gen Alpha 0 to 13 and Gen Z 13 to 28. Um, Gen Alpha, those 0 to 13 age groups. So you're talking about middle school, high school, and college is where we're targeting. Those kids spend um, 93% of them actually game on a daily basis. So we are reaching kids exactly where they
Oh,
are.
you are. Yeah, my daughter's.
Um,
Yeah, I got 13 and 6. That's all in about.
exactly.
All
And
in about.
I've got a 16-year-old, and then even my 21-year-olds. I have 21-year-old triplets, so they're all into gaming too. But we're meeting kids where they are with those games and attracting them on a huge level and putting it right in their face. So these are the games that they play all the time anyway. But you know that you can play music over games. You can have conversations over games. There's so many things that we can actually do to actually bring those things to them. So what this is an Olympic size hosted at the Olympic Center gaming tournament. Um, when we come in there, they have breakout sessions. So when they're not playing their tournament game, there's breakout sessions where they're getting real certifications, micro certifications, and tools and things that they can actually use that can help save a life. So they're getting conflict resolution. They're getting QPR, which is the national standard for suicide prevention. They are getting hands only CPR so they can learn how to save a life. Think about the fact that not only are we looking at, we're talking about making schools and communities safe here. 75% of the people that pass away from mass school shootings don't pass away because of the gunshot. They pass away for bleeding out because most, what is it, like 2% of schools teach CPR for anyone under 12th grade. Um, so we already know we're leaving our kids vulnerable. We just cannot do that. That cannot be acceptable. So what we are doing is a grassroots movement. It is parents, it's national brands, organizations coming in together, and we're saying this is not okay. We're going to do something about it. Let's give our kids the tools that they need to be resilient mentally, to build what their career path is. Because when we can get them on their career path, we see suicide ideation go down by as much as 50%. This is a common sense and research based approach to reaching children, but reaching them where they are in
Right.
gaming and in music and letting them have some control and say in what they're doing. So these kids, you'll see this is a movement led by kids. The podcast is led by kids. The reporters are children. So this is going to be a mighty, mighty event. And for those that sponsor and come in, first of all, having this live streamed across gaming platforms is groundbreaking. It's never been done. In New York, where the Olympic Center is, they're going to be providing transportation for any K through 12 school that would like to attend. They can go onto our website and they can click on that button and apply for transportation to be provided. And then we're live streaming it on top of that to the nation. So this is probably, I would dare say, the biggest back to school and biggest suicide prevention event in history.
You know, I tell you what, most impactful, at least in this wheelhouse, in this arena. Gosh, time flies. I hate this, but folks, go to esportsplaystate.live. Pass it on to someone. Pass it on to somebody in business and community leadership. You never know. There's so many people been impacted, and we all struggle with mental health. We all do. At some point, it depends. It's not acceptable. It starts in your childhood, and you are doing everything in your power. You're sacrificing daily. You're working 24/7 forever, and I see that. That's why, folks. That's why I got involved. I was blessed, and the one and only Dr. Constance Leland said, "Hey, check this out." And it didn't take nothing. I said, "Yeah, absolutely," because this is important. is an understatement, to be honest. So how can folks get involved, right? So there's different things, and we'll talk about the details. But if a couple folks and companies want to come on board and reach out, I mean, we've got they could talk to you, obviously. But what are some of the main things that we need and the different levels that they can get involved with? I mean, we'll make room for folks, but you know, as of late, it was 180, right? And here's
Mhm.
what killed me. This is what got me, because I seen people give $50,000 for an idea, not like 2 months ago, right? So I'm thinking, hey, this thing's the real deal, and that's why I was excited to get this out. So you know, let me ask this before we get into the last, just real quick. What do you want these kids to walk away feeling or believing about themselves or the world in general by the time that that event ends on September 13th, Shonda? What is it?
Well, kids will walk away from this, first of all, having a fun experience, but they are going to walk away with a literal toolkit of things that they can do and try to help maintain their own mental wellness. So it is how they can help themselves, how they can help someone else. They'll have a song that they will be able to remember. They have games that they can actually play that help support mental wellness. There are
Yeah,
games out there that support this. So they're going to be introduced to those things. This 180,000 is broken down. So this helps empower as there's 14 breakout sessions. So there's opportunities for sponsors to come in. And what we're looking to do is be able to connect with those kids. It covers the QPR instructors. It covers swag bags and things they can take back with them so that they go back and they leave as ambassadors for safe schools so that they can actually be the catalyst in their own school to help be that lookout, to be that person that says, hey, this person's been acting uh, a little reserved, a little bit, down. How do I make sure that the right person knows about that so that we can actually prevent these things from happening? Um, so with this event, it provides the back to school information. It supplies the certifications for QPR so that we're empowering kids to go in and empower their schools to be safe places and to have those conversations that need to be had.
right.
So that's what this is. And it also allows us to have the LED wall. So the great thing with the partnership with the ORDA, the Olympic Regional Development Authority, is that the venue isn't costing us anything. The venue, the lighting, those things are covered. What we need to cover are the mental health aspects, these breakout rooms to be able to function. This facility can hold up to 8,500 children. So we're talking about every single child leaving with a certification that could save a life, leaving with that basic skill set of what they can do to empower themselves and others, to what to do in the case of the worst happening at their school. But we're doing it in a kid friendly, age appropriate way that is not scary. So
Right.
that is what this does. So we need those sponsors to come in. We also want to look at STEM education. One of the things about this is it's an amazing, amazing program because kids come in and they learn about gaming, they learn about music, but then we segue that over into what does that look as a STEM career? What does that look in modern AI and technology workforce development? So what we are building through these programs are mentally resilient children that are technologically savvy and ready for the workforce. This hits so many areas of what our nation needs to be a strong nation. And that's
Yes,
where
ma'am.
we are. You when technology is coming in and you have layoffs and automation coming in, then what do we do? And it's moving at a pace that our schools aren't keeping up. So how do we get that technology to them? Well, we can do it by simply gamifying some of those basic skill sets. If you can mix a song, if you can do basic coding on a game, then that is setting the stage for something so much more. Um,
Yes, ma'am.
playing playing with a drone in a video game is a six-figure job.
Right.
if you go and look at and connect with U.S. Civil Service or DARPA or the Department of Defense. So there's so much more that we can open the eyes of their children to see their future. And when we get them on that future focus, we see suicide ideation go down by 50%. Now, when we're looking at 1.7 million kids that attempt suicide annually, 51,000 successful suicide attempts end up in death. Um, and about 22% are our children are under 18. So this is significant. It's massive. It's not one demographic. It's not one neighborhood. It's happening in rural areas. It's happening in urban areas. It's happening in cityscapes and suburban areas. It's everywhere, and we have to do something before it is too late.
Well, you are doing something, and we are out of time. However, folks, go to esportsplaystay.live. Go to flourish.foundation. You are doing it. You are putting. Thank you for taking your time today to do this. Folks, get involved. We scratched the surface, and this ain't just a one-day event and then what. This is the spark. All right, there's tons of follow-up. This is really the spark that's going to push this boulder downhill and get it done. Get it done. And that's not just good for the well-being and feel good of our youth. All right, that's important enough. But the exposure, the everything behind it, it's win across the board. Ginormous amount of exposure for doing this, for making this happen. That could be your company, your organization. Go check it out, folks. We'll see you on the next one. So, go check our YouTube. We have much more detail on that, folks. I know we have to cut it short, but Shonda, you are fantastic. Thank you for doing this, and we're going to rally behind you and make this the reality. This will happen, and all the great folks involved with this, from the Olympic Center, the authority, all of the great people over there, many of them. So reach out. We'll be happy to load you up. We'll catch you on the next one, folks. Thank you for tuning in on the comments and also on the air. We'll see you next week, people. Thank you, Shonda, so much.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.